Hi everyone, this is Killshot99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 5, Rick's Miracle Escape. I want to start out by saying Happy Halloween to everyone. Alright, trivia question. I am dressed as a stealthy assassin and a breakfast food. Who am I? And while you're thinking about that, I'm laughing. I'm laughing at some of the information that's out there. Do want to say super chat to Scott Kernan. Thank you, Scott. It says, Kills, just want to say people have seen episodes 5 and 6 and are shocked by it. They're saying, apparently, it's really emotional and sad. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And also, we got Valar saying, hello, 999 Army, Kill Steph, Kels, Emmy, Sweet Tommy, sponsors, patrons, and, of course, all the super chatters. We got some good guests. A waffle ninja? No, I'm a ninja pancake. So I do want to say, ninja, chill. Ninja is like in a drunken Halloween rage with people asking for spoilers. So they're refreshing the site, I guess, every 5 minutes. Like, what's going to happen? Give us the spoiler. Give us the spoiler. And I guess she just went off on a couple people. So just want to say, just calm down. It's okay. It's okay. It's Halloween. Let's have a good time with it. Scott Kernan, here, let me just say something. Scott, I've seen episode 5. And it is epic, and it'll be something you never forget. Have I really seen episode 5? There are some people that have seen it, but look, not everybody has seen it. And Scott Kernan, I am aware there are other YouTube channels out there. Yes, I'm aware. I don't watch them, but I am aware that they exist. And I am aware that Brandon Davis from comicbook.com has seen it and apparently has signed a non-disclosure agreement. No, I haven't seen it. I'm just giving the point that there's a lot of people out there that have sent me information and said they've seen it, and they haven't. It's just, there are a select few. But because it is starting to surface, I do want to say this, though, because I am big fans of Spoiling Dead's fan page. And I do think, I think Shiny Firefly and I think Ninja Pan, I think they both have an appreciation for me. I think I'm kind of wearing on them a little bit, my charm, my personality. I think they're kind of in the same situation as me, to be perfectly honest. They do spoilers, but they typically don't like to spoil something that is super big like this. But other people are starting to get the information. And because they have it, I think they're probably, I don't want to speak for them, but I think they're kind of compelled to release it. And it's probably something they're not looking forward to doing. But I'm the same way. I don't like spoilers, but rest assured when the spoilers come out, we will talk about them. But they're not out yet. And because they're not out yet, we still have a couple more days. You know, maybe they'll come out tonight and then, tomorrow will be a little bit different. But tonight, as of this moment, they're not confirmed. So we get to have some more fun. And because I've given really my feel of, you guys know how I feel. I feel Rick is on the rebar and he's not going to make it. But I am going to entertain some of the other pushback that I've been getting. And I've got Mel the Vulture. What's up, Mel? Good to see you. You're appreciated in good places, Kills, believe me. You know what? I appreciate that. And I hope it is because, Mel, thank you so much. And I do hope it is because I'm honest about my lack of wanting to do spoilers. I just feel like if we don't do them when they're out there, we're going to be just a kid over in the corner while other people are talking about it. So we're reluctant to do it. So the later they come out, the better. So I've been really excited about this whole Vanilla Sky theory that I got, and Rick's bleeding out, and all of these things that are happening, and I don't think he makes it off the rebar. I'm on record as saying that. However, and this isn't a spoiler, okay? Well, I guess it kind of technically is. It's a semi-spoiler. So all I have seen is the first minute and 50 seconds, which people on the premiere can see. It's just, they've been taken down. So AMC, and it's not because AMC doesn't want people to know. It's because they want you to buy AMC Premiere. So I hope everybody gets that. When people are posting, they're watching on Premiere and they're posting it, it's taking revenue away from them, and I don't like that. I'm not a fan of doing that, and I'm glad that they have blocked those videos. But I have seen it. And so I guess it's a little hypocritical, but it was sent to me and it was on Twitter, so I watched it, but I wasn't going to buy it anyway. So maybe, I don't know. Hopefully you guys give me a pass on that. I'm not trying to be hypocritical, but I have seen it. But anyway, I'm going to use some of the first 2 minutes and discuss it, because most of you have seen it. Because I think it ties into a possibility, a slight possibility, that Rick does make it off the rebar. And I know that's what many of you want to hear. You want to hear there's a chance he can make it, because I've been dogging it for so long. And in watching that, I will say the belt was real. It felt real. The pulling himself off the rebar felt real. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you, and a lot happens in that small segment, but I'm going to give you some things that I felt. I don't know if the whole episode is hallucinations. I think there could be some things that could be real, and I think there could be some things that are fake that go along with it. And one scene floored me. It of all the scenes they showed me, one was like, wait a minute, this is something in the middle of this. I shouldn't have seen that, basically, because it was almost like it gave me an option to see another theory. And I thought I was pretty good with the one I had out there. So I know many of you are saying the horse, and I even got a text message from Alexandra the other day, and she goes, "Kills, I've trained horses. That horse would have ran." But wouldn't it be a beautiful thing and very symbolic if the bond with the horse was so strong that the horse was not going to leave without Rick? I mean, let me just say that's a beautiful thing. For one, that gives me hope, because I love pets, and I can see some real grace in that. So the fact that the horse is there waiting, if that is real, I love that. I absolutely love it. The problem that I had, to be perfectly honest, is the way the walkers were coming that fast. But I do know that AMC has done this in the past. They've exaggerated the real time of what goes on. Like the whole eeny, meeny, miny, mo thing, and then the bat going down, right? They had to back that off a little bit, because that's not the exact way it happened, because we were looking for every clue. So, yes, if we go with common sense, those walkers converge on Rick way too soon for him to get his belt off, wrap it around the rebar, and pull himself up. But they do say, if your life flashes before your eyes, it happens fast. So, if we watch a 30-second scene in the hospital, it's not really 30 seconds. It's just happening much, much more quickly in his brain. So then it's like, wake up, asshole. And he wakes up and it's like, I've been practicing that all day too. So I won't do it again. But that is my sound of when I'm pulling myself off a rebar. Last night I did the fire spreading sound. But that sounded real, didn't it? Didn't you? I mean, when you guys heard that, didn't you think I was just like pulling myself off a rebar? I do these things. All right. You guys are killing me. We got Mel the Vulture. I'm gonna be in stitches here in a second. So Mel says, like the walkers closing in on Rick and crew at CDC before Jenner opened the door. Yes. So no doubt. And they do it for effect. And the reason they do it is because they know that we have to live with that anxiety for a week. So we're going to, either next week the walkers are going to be a little bit slower. They're going to be a couple feet away. We're probably not going to be putting picture A, picture B. Oh, last week they were 5 feet closer. We go with the flow. I think we get that at this point. But when I initially saw it, my first response is, there's no way. They're going to devour him before he gets there. Someone else has to interfere, distract him. And we even had people saying he's going to shoot guns. There's going to be another sound. The horse will sacrifice its life. No, I just think that he's going to do it really quickly, right? Scott Kernan says, I hope Gimple's writing is satisfactory. Scott, I don't want to get too far off a topic with this theory, but I will say this. The writing and the show running, to me, has been phenomenal this year. You can be mad about the rebar. You really can if you want. But I have seen such talent, such class, such amazing, brilliant acting. I will defend the show. I'm not going to say angrily, but I get a lot of people that still log on to the channel. They leave comments on video, and we encourage it. But some of the criticism is very unfair. Very unfair. Mel, you're not leaving. And if you leave, you need to watch the playback. I know you're a busy dude, but sometimes you got to hang out with us, man. You can't come in, super chat, and then roll out. Sometimes you got to come in and not even super chat, but just hang out. But Mel the Vulture says, Scott Gimple didn't write this episode in its entirety. And, now, nothing is happening on the show without it going over his desk. I'm pretty sure. Even though Angela's calling the shots, Scott's signing off on it. I mean, it's his reputation. It's all of their reputations. Greg Nicotero, Denise, all of them are involved in this. And this has been, as sadly as it is with Rick, this has been my favorite season. Now, you don't have to agree with that, and you could throw ratings up there, whatever you want is your validation. But the way it's filmed, the personal stories, the level of acting has been incredible. So, if Rick does, in fact, throw the belt over there, pull himself off, he's Rick Grimes. I'm going to say, for sake of argument, it missed his spleen. All right, that's got to happen too, because if it ruptured his spleen, he's dead. If it ruptured his spleen, he doesn't make it off the rebar. So I'm going to say it pierced him. It missed, and he is still bleeding badly. Then we have this beautiful thing, this bond, this loyalty between him and this horse. And he makes it, and the way he rides in front of them, it is still true to the direction that the walkers were coming. So there is still an escape path. So I'm going to say, for sake of argument, at that point, going against my other theory, and I don't know if I 100% believe it yet, but I am going to acknowledge it, that happens. Those two things happen. He wakes up, three things. He wakes up, he immediately knows he's in trouble, pulls himself up, gets on the horse, and he starts moving. We got a couple more super chats, and then I'll get back to what I think is not real. So Scott Kern, I'm calling you Scott Gimple now. It's funny how Gimple wrote the best and the worst episodes of the series. I can honestly tell you, I have not dug down real into the fibers of which ones he's personally responsible for, but Mel has, and we have a disagreement. But I would say that's not kind of my forte. So now we've got an injured Rick on the horse with the walkers following him. The problem is he has to do multiple things. He's got to save himself. He doesn't want this horse to die. He is hallucinating. He doesn't want to lose the bridge. and he doesn't want his people to die. That's a lot of problems. It's a lot of things for a person who has just been impaled to deal with if he did in fact make it off the rebar, which we're going to say he did. If he leads, he only has one direction he can go. Hopefully you guys saw this. So he can't go to Alexandria because the walkers are coming in his direction. So the only direction he can go is toward the bridge, and he's still got to save himself. But he can't ride, if he has an alt plan, he probably can't ride really fast because the walkers are going to split up, and he's not going to lead them away from Alexandria. He's not going to lead them away from Kingdom. He's not going to lead them away from his people. Now, let's talk about what potentially could be fake while this is happening. Obviously, if he envisions walking over dead bodies, if he is fantasizing, or maybe fantasizing is the wrong word, but if he's having these flashbacks and he's having this conversation with Michonne, we don't die, that's not real. Michonne's not there. The shack is not real. I don't feel like he has worked in this area. He's ridden back and forth. He knows the area like the back of his hand. I don't think he's going to slowly walk up to this shack that has walkers trapped inside it. I think it's a mix of reality and what could potentially be happening. GG with a super chat. Thank you so much. Goucher. I think I said it right. But I'm just going with GG for now. But appreciate you being here. If you have a super chat or a follow-up comment, then definitely leave it, because I want to get your thoughts in here. Well, Will Saint, it does kind of feel like the end. But hold on. You guys, don't let me lose you yet. Because there is one scene that was mind-blowing to me, and I haven't gotten there yet. But it does make sense. And I'm loving your theories. So, Rick sees the shack. I think it has a symbolic meaning, and I think it is a callback to probably Night of the Living Dead. But while Rick is dozing in and out of consciousness on the back of this horse is saving his life. It is still going, even though Rick probably is not doing a very good job of riding it. So, as I've said 3 times this week, the bridge scene is not real. The bridge scene of everybody running over and passing him by is an illusion, and I don't think it happens until after something else happens. I don't think he is envisioning this while he's riding the horse. I think there's some other events that will go down, and this will be one of the last things he sees, and that is his peace. So when it is open-ended, I think that's when he'll visualize the bridge being there. So let me tell you something else that I did see, and this is kind of the big reveal, I guess. Rick realizes as he goes that he continues to bleed. Every scene that we've seen him in, he knows it's not stopping. You know, maybe you hold your hand over it and you get it to stop. You do something, but he knows that he's in trouble. And also, he realizes that there's not going to be someone that can save him and get rid of the walkers at the same time. So I do think it's possible. I got to be careful how I do this, because if I say this and people are like, yeah, we knew that was going to happen, it'll undermine the fact that I do really think he doesn't get off the rebar. Okay? Let me make that clear. But if my prediction is not right, he's going to sacrifice the bridge. I think he will lure the walkers on top of the bridge and the bridge will collapse. And he will collapse into the water with it. Here's why I say that. Because in the opening minutes, it shows him walking across the bridge without the horse. So I think because the horse stayed for him, I don't think the horse is going to get eaten. I think Rick is going to get off the horse. And I think he's going to smack the horse right in the back and say, "Get out of here." And try to save the horse that saved him. Now, look, I'm walking through this now. Because I think if it happens the way many of you have thought, I'm buying into this. That's when we see the bloody boots. We see him continuing to bleed, walking. Notice when he gets to the bridge, he's walking and he's bleeding. No horse. But we also saw a scene of Rick walking across the bridge by himself. And he was almost at the other side of the bridge and the walkers were following him. That is in the opening. That is in the minutes. That is something that happens. And there's no way that that can happen and the scene of him kneeling in front of the bridge can happen. Those two things cannot happen. So he lets the horse go and he lures the walkers onto the bridge knowing that they will all fall in the water and the water is starting to rise and they will all be washed downstream. What the problem is going to be is he's probably going to have to initiate that. But hold on. That would be a little bit more epic than rebar, but I'm not done with it yet. We got Saying Raised on Earth says, I feel like Rick has to encounter the walker that gets in his face in the shack. Where else would it be dark like that in the background? Well, hold on. And thank you for that super chat. Moderators, can Michael James just be timed out until he gets a little bit of maturity? Thank you. And hopefully you come back with something positive to contribute to our stream. And speaking of stream, the bridge collapses. Rick gets washed downstream. And maybe if he gets washed downstream, this is what we see. Now, I am not a CSI detective, but the hair in the back does look a little bit darker. His hair could be wet. Just possibility, right? I'm going to get your thoughts on that. So let's say the bridge breaks, he gets washed downstream, and this is what is on top of him. But there's one more thing that goes down. We have a picture that was tweeted out by AMC of Jadis pointing a gun down. So if Rick's hair is wet here, he got washed down. This is getting ready to devour him. And Jadis has a pistol pointing it down. Would Rick volunteer? This is a question I have for everybody, and I got a super chat. I got a big question for all of you. Home Flaherty says, song goes, take me down to the river, no accident. Exactly. So, look, there's some clues adding up here. What if Rick knows he cannot make it back to see Michonne and Judy? He's going to die before he gets there. And Jadis has the slightest chance that if he gets on his helicopter, he might be able to live to see another day. Does he take it? Does he take the chance to get... Because we've said that he gets captured. What if she says these people might be able to help you? Because you're going to bleed before you get back to Judy and Michonne. You ain't ever going to see them. And if the only chance is you're going to die or you get on this helicopter, what are you going to do? And let me get your thoughts here. What would Rick Grimes do? We got Steve Smitherman says, these 999 live streams make the week move faster and actually makes the entirety of the show so much better for me. You know what? Steve, I'm going to make that my super chat spotlight question. So I'm going to ask all the viewers we have here, all 500, 600, 1,000 of you. Last night we had, I think, 550 concurrent, 2,000. So a hell of a big stream. If you agree with Steve, and you like these streams, and you like getting involved in the streams, and you like analyzing The Walking Dead, and you like doing it in real time and not having to log onto a website and leave a comment, and somebody reads your comment, and somebody trolls you, and they don't block them, and you like being here, hit that thumbs up button. And if you don't, if you like to come in and make silly comments and you get blocked and you don't like being here, give it a thumbs down. But one way or another, Steve, thank you so much for that comment. I appreciate that. And let's see if we can get everybody smashing the like button really quickly. We should have this thing over 300 likes by now. Easily. Hopefully we will by the time we get to the end of the stream. And look, I think that's a great follow-up question. Scott Kernan, this is my only question is why wouldn't Rick go back? That's a great question. There's a whole lot of reasons why. I mean, the real reason, first and foremost, and I'm going to be completely transparent with you, is Andrew Lincoln doesn't want to be on the show. That's the answer. And I think when people ask that question, we're looking too far into it. They may not have the answer to that question yet, to be perfectly honest. And I think it's fair. Well, let's let Andy leave. Okay, we got a 5-year time skip. Why is he not coming back? Well, hell, I don't know. We'll figure that out if Andy ever wants to come back. I could very likely see that as a scenario. We'll figure it out later on, and the fans won't care because we're bringing Andy Lincoln back. Okay, so I'm gonna answer that follow-up question, and I'm gonna humor you. Westwood Chronic first says, "What is the actual point Jadis's character if she wasn't created just to save Rick?" I mean, really. Well, she's got to have a bigger picture. I agree with that, Westwood, and that's why I think all this stuff is still in play. So Scott with a follow-up, and Scott, they're good super chats, but they're hypotheticals. So. Let me think of the best example. You could make a plot hole out of anything that you have not faced yet and don't have the answer to the question that is yet to be asked. How about that? Sort through what I just said and it'll make perfect sense to you. They can't give us the answer to a question that they probably don't have the answer to give. We'll figure it out. Because there's so many variables that can still take place. But come on, Scott. If that's the only plot hole you've ever seen on The Walking Dead, there's a lot of them. A lot of them. This plot hole would be the least of our worries. So, once again, really? The one thing about having a whole lot of people is you guys know. You get those people sometimes. But the one thing about weeding them out is that we get more and more awesome people. That's why it's a 999 army. It's why we're not a battalion or a platoon. We got a ton of awesome people here that are from spoiler sites, from shows, from periodicals. We got people that log in and take your predictions and put them on websites. And sometimes they put some of our predictions that are not right on websites. I've read some of them. 999 Gaming thinks this, and it was the worst theory in the world. But hey, it's fun. It's fun to do it this way. All right, we got Drama King. Drama King New York City says, Kills, what are the chances that Daryl changes clothes and bathes after the 5-year time jump? I'm going to say 60%. Drama King. That's definitely a mood changer, right? You know what? Drama, I'm gonna direct that question to Steph, because Steph is the real Daryl Dixon lover. So Steph, you're on the spot here. What are the odds that Daryl bathes and changes his clothes? So let's hold tight to see what her answer is. And then I'm gonna jump over this other super chat too. I'm sure I have an idea what the answer is going to be. You know what, Mike? That's probably what I think the answer. There you go. There's your answer. All right. Saying Raised on Earth, another super chat. Thank you so much. Says, first time watching live, stuck at work and have to watch playback. Love being able to get involved. Keep it up. 999 Army will stay strong. I'm sorry. I just think we do it better than other people because of you. I think you guys and your chat, your communication, your involvement is very unique, and I appreciate the activity. We've done streams where it was 15 of us, and we've done streams where it was 50, and we've done streams where it was a couple thousand. And it does get a little hectic. I didn't catch that. Steph, send me that. Yeah, thank you. All right. Hey, Lynn, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. Sorry about that vulgar display of power. I think you got inadvertently deleted. All right, so we got John Jordan. John Jordan says, my theory is we get into the episode and Rick's already in flashback mode. Then at the end of the flashback, you see Rick's eyes just open at the end. I am a strong supporter of that, John. And in fact, this is the scene that I think, or I've always thought would be Rick's last scene. But I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. Rick gets off the rebar and Rick's dying and the horse gets set free and the bridge breaks and he gets washed downstream and Jadis needs an A and they're playing the song in the background. It's about the river. And the horse doesn't get eaten and Rick looks doomed. And, once again, I'm going to go back. I'm going to ask everybody here, based on this theory, this philosophy. And I need 500 answers to this question, so get ready. If you were Rick and you were washed downstream and you were bleeding and you know you've got about 30 minutes to an hour left to live, and you know there's no way you're going to get back to tell your loved ones goodbye, do you say, Jadis, bury me right here, put me out of my misery? Or if she says to you, I can call a helicopter, maybe you make it. What are you going to choose? You going to choose die right there, struggle and die on the road back? Or you're going to get in a helicopter and fly away? I think everybody's going to get in the chopper. I really do. So we got Scott Kernan says Rick and Lori exit on the same day, 6 years apart. Interesting trivia there, Scott. And Rita Neal with a super chat. But Rita did not type a comment. Rita, give us a follow-up comment. I see a quick follow-up comment down below. It says, Jadis is part of the Commonwealth, isn't she? Remember her lovingly... It scrolled up really quick. She's a mathematician, I think. So she is a teacher. Well, she took her students there, so I don't think Jadis... I can't say these people in the helicopter are the Commonwealth. I don't know what they are. But, Scott, we can get back to the plot hole, and I don't think that question would have been answered. If Rick gets taken away on a helicopter, why would he not be back after 5 years? So, it is a glaring plot hole. So I'm going to ask all of you. Rick gets on the chopper, like many of you are saying. If it played out that way, why is it 5 years later and we have not seen or heard from Rick Grimes? Because that is the biggest flaw in that theory. Brandon Burns says held against his will. Nothing But Nerd says The Walking Dead movie. Green says a movie. Paris says because he died afterwards. Coma, brainwashed, captured. Kept him for studying against his will. So I love all of these. And there's a lot of ways to make it work. But you know what the neatest thing is about it? It would be open-ended. Some of us would be saying exactly that. Be saying, he'd be back after 5 years. He's got to be dead, man. He didn't make it. And if he never comes back, then maybe he is dead. If Andy wants the rest of his life off the show, then we just have to gradually accept he's gone. But if he does come back, it was still open-ended, and we get this grand return of Rick in the last season or so to save everybody. Wolverine 1771 says, if Jada saves Rick to get him to helicopter, do you think she will go with him, stay behind, or gets killed in the process of saving him? If this happens, and been watching your videos for years, keep up the good work. First and foremost, thank you so much for watching the videos for years. Appreciate the long time support. Many of you have been watching for a long time, and we would not have grown to the level we've grown without every single person in the stream. So I am extremely grateful and humbled to everybody that's here. Would Jadis go with him? That is an excellent question. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say they don't want her. I think she stays behind because eventually they're going to want more people. Freshly bitten or something. Scott Kernan says it's weird Rick would leave the community he built. So let me... Scott, you mean Rick or you mean Andy Lincoln? Give me a clarification. The character Rick leaving or Andy choosing to be with his family? Here's something possibly that would justify that Jadis theory even more. Okay. Stick with me here. When Jadis captured Rick, who did she have him fight? I'm going to ask a bunch of easy questions. These are setups, everybody. Winslow. All right. When Jadis had Negan, she was going to have the next Winslow chew up Negan. When Father G was getting ready to go up on the helicopter, she was going to have Kate Winslet fight Father G. So, we know that everybody that she wants to send on this chopper needs to be bitten. Everybody agree? That's the price of admission. For some reason, the people on these choppers that are picking people up, they want these freshly bitten people. All right. I should get almost 500 yeses on this. All right. Here's what would validate the theory of this walker being standing over the top of Rick while his hair was wet after being washed down the river and Jadis coming over. When Jadis comes over to potentially shoot this walker and Rick is delusional and almost dead and she sees him bleeding, what assumption is Jadis going to make? And Rick might not be able to speak. Exactly. She is going to have what she's not been able to do. She's got her A because she's got Rick, and she's got him freshly bitten. All she's got to do now is radio it in. So she's going to be fooled. She doesn't know it was a piece of rebarb that went through him. He's probably not even going to tell her. It's not probably, oh, you look like crap. What happened to you? Yeah, I had a bad experience with some rebar. Even if he can talk, he's probably not telling her what happened. She sees that. She thinks it's a walker bite. Time to get on the radio. I'm going to give this a solid number 2 theory. I still think it's going to be the rebar. But I'm buying into this. Steel Driving Crew Super Chat says, my big question is, how do you have the Packers-Patriots game the same time as this episode? Not cool. Well, the football gods did not know that Rick was leaving this episode when they've scheduled those games. That's for sure. That would be my answer. And back to you, Scott, when you said Rick would leave the community he built. Rick's dying. Rick has no choice but to leave this community. That's why I asked whether you're talking about Andrew leaving the show or Rick. Rick has no choice. He didn't choose to get thrown off and impaled by a piece of rebar. He's fighting for his life. So I do think, let me say, this is not my original theory. This is a combination of several of your theories. I just added the kind of little icing on the cake at the end with the wet hair and the walker wakes up and he looks like he's bitten and Jadis radios it in. So I'm certainly tagging onto it. But I didn't, wake up and say this is, something I'm creating from start to finish. But it is, in some regards, I think it is epic, brutal, and graceful. I mean, in some regards, let's be honest, it's a better theory. That's why I wanted to say it would be Rick's miracle escape. Because he's got to survive that slab of concrete. If he can survive that slab of concrete, yeah, anything is possible. I don't think he survives a rebar just to stumble in and say goodbye to everybody and whoever, maybe it is that guy. There are rumors that Daryl takes him on the bike. He gets back to Alexandria and Negan's heard laughing in the background. And at the end he looks at Judy and says, "You are the future." Corny. Come on, that's a little, The bridge breaks, he gets washed down, flown away on a helicopter. That's epic. By far. If he's stuck on the rebar the whole time and we're sort of tricked and it fades to black and there's a chance he lives, a chance he dies, I could see that as epic. I know people aren't going to think the rebar is epic, but I think thinking that he was living when he really wasn't living, or thinking he was moving when he was really stationary, I think there's some epic components to that. But here's the problem that I have with that whole, he gets back and Daryl comes over, puts him on the bike and takes him to Alexandria. How's Daryl going to get the bike back to Alexandria when there's 2,000 walkers blocking the way? I mean, that completely undermines everything. So I definitely thought it was a fan theory. Several people sent it and thought it was legit. I don't. I think it's probably the worst theory out there. Deborah Johnson says, "Where's the gracefulness?" I think the gracefulness is twofold. Or threefold. One, I think it would be the symbolic bond between Rick and the White Horse. I think the actual destroying of the bridge to save the people. And I think the vision of everybody fighting for Rick's cause, and in his mind, the bridge is still there because the bridge is a metaphor, even though we saw the bridge collapse. To me, that would be, all those things would constitute very, very graceful and moving, and while you're simultaneously dealing with the brutality of his injury and then the epic spin of what it would take. It's going to take a lot. Let's all agree with this, okay? Or actually, I don't want to tell you what to agree with. Please listen, and if you agree, let me know that you agree. It would not take a lot to kill him, but it's going to take a lot of situations for this to end in an open-ended manner. Would you agree with that statement? That it's not going to be easy to get there. It's not like, okay, now we just don't know whether he's alive or dead. So it is going to have to be a long trip back, a bridge break, somebody finds him. There's going to have to be some things that are not convenient, that are a little bit fantasy. But if it's well played and well written, I think we'll buy into it. I don't think we're going to be stuck on one or two details. The flip side of that is, if he's dead, we will not let it go. I mean, there's so much more advantage to them to do it the way we talked about today, to breathe some life into this character and into this hope concept, instead of a real crappy Sunday night where everybody's in tears and you realize that you're never going to see Rick Grimes again. I don't see it. And I'm trying to balance, is it, my hope of wanting the show to continue at this level versus the reality. But even if he's stuck on the rebar, I think it's going to be open-ended, but we're just going to have to deal with the fantasies. And then the epic thing is, oh man, I thought he was alive the whole time and he really wasn't. Or conscious, I guess what I'm looking for. John Brody with the super chat. Thank you, man. Appreciate you being here and dropping that in chat. And Kay Hensley says Maggie will leave and go with the Commonwealth. Maggie, to me, is almost certain to leave and go with Georgie. I'm not sure that Georgie represents the Commonwealth, but I think that would be a decent guess. But I do think the big Easter egg to that was, look, if Maggie wasn't leaving with Georgie, why the hell would Jesus even walk up and say, I got another letter from Georgie? And she would put it in my office in a desk with the rest of them. It was a very subtle, but it was subtle as nothing. I mean, it was probably one of the biggest hints on the show. So I think Maggie will leave, take Herschel, definitely open-ended. Rick will live or die. But I don't think we'll see either. And it's very difficult to do and make people like it. But I am fully expecting Sunday night for us to be sitting here talking after Talking Dead, and half the people say, no, he's dead. There's no way he lived through it. And then other people saying, wait, and now I heard something in the background. I heard a chopper in the background. There's still hope. And then there's some people saying, look, we saw the gun in his hand. So I'm going to tie it in and give you one more clue, I think, that would justify it. So Scott Kernan says, that's another thing, the Maggie-Michonne conflict. It is, and it's not happening anywhere near what's going on here. So let me give one more thing of what I think could validate Rick with a miracle escape. This scene right here, I feel like Rick still has his python. And I think this is where Rick's arm that we saw in the spoiler pic is spread out, and he doesn't have the energy to shoot this walker. And Jadis will come up and point the gun down and shoot it. And Rick will drop his gun, and the helicopter takes him, and the gun is left behind. So we've seen Rick's arm with the gun, and I think a lot of people assume he shot himself. But if he shot himself, then his arm wouldn't move over, and the gun be left laying without him being there. You see what I'm saying? So he has to drop the gun. Just want to throw a little bit extra. I'm going CSI mode tonight. All right, I think I got another super chat. We've got Steve Smitherman. Thanks again, Steve. Do you think Jadis' note was foreshadowing her getting Rick to the chopper? One fast, too far. I definitely think it could be. But it was also meant to she needs something. And I think the reason the note was more important to Father G is that he feels like she's going to turn herself in. But the truth is, she might not be. She might be looking for Rick or looking for Negan. Another A. And I just think it would be beautiful irony if Jadis is able to pay her debt and also give the viewers and the audience hope of a return of Rick Grimes. I think that's perfect. That this person that we've seen is kind of a borderline villain might actually be doing the biggest favor for all the Rick Grimes fans out there, while somewhat closing a little bit of her story arc. Good comments, good comments. All right, we have got a ton of people here, and we are 56 minutes in. Time flies. This has probably been the quickest hour that we've done in a long, long time. I will tell you, the streams, at least from my perspective, have been absolutely amazing. So much insight, so many good theories. I'm going to recap one more thing before we go, and then I got another super chat. This happens sometimes. We get some super chats at the very end. So we got longtime viewer, Wolverine, 1771, says, do you think Rick is on the bridge with the walkers and the bridge collapses, that there would be someone on the other side of the bridge that witnessed him going down with the walkers? Wolverine, here's the deal. Not if all the fighting and commotion is still going on. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I didn't touch on that. Because why would people not see it? Because Daryl went back to try to break up all the chaos. It's likely there's fighting, there's gunshots, there's all these things going on. And they may not stop. They may not hear anything until the bridge starts collapsing. And by that point, Rick could be washed down the river. So I don't know that they're going to be in direct eyesight and say, hey, there's Rick Grimes. The way he walked across the bridge, it looked like nobody else was around there. And that's because there's some major fighting going down. But appreciate you bringing that up. And then, by the time they run over and see the walkers falling in the water, they may figure out, look, Rick's gone. And who knows? They might look for him. I mean, they may go downriver, but by that point, Jadis probably already got him on the helicopter. And she keeps secrets. See, there's a lot of little tidbits of information that could make this theory work. The whole secretive thing, she needs an A, Rick looks like he's been bitten. It feels like a good theory, doesn't it? So, as we wind this down, I'm just going to ask everybody right now. We've walked through a pretty extensive scenario. Let me know what you think. Yay or nay right now, just to get a feel for the audience. Also, while you're doing that, if you guys can also hit the like button. Ton of people here. If you had a good time, if you like what we do, like it, subscribe. Come back here tomorrow night at 9:30. Spoilers might be out within the next couple days. So if spoilers do come out tomorrow night stream, we will talk about some hints and some spoilers. If not, we're going to shift to a different topic, and we'll get to spoilers sometimes. But if they come out, we'll talk about them sometimes between now and the Rick Grimes finale. Man, it's hard to even say, isn't it? Rick Grimes finale. It's a little bit tough. All right, thanks everybody. You guys have been absolutely phenomenal. Amazing group of people. Look forward to being here tomorrow night at 9:30. We might do streams every day and every night up until the premiere. Usually we take Friday and Saturdays off, but we've been just nonstop. So what it could look like, 9:30 tomorrow night, probably a stream on Friday night as well. Scott, let me address that super chat. I will say that as of about an hour ago, and this is where I start out the stream, Ninja Pancake hinted that that Spoiling Dead's fan page would have some information. That it is likely. Now, I don't know if it'll be a Q&A. I don't know if it'll be all the stuff they normally publish. But because other people are getting information, she's hinted that stuff would be coming out. She just didn't give a time frame. So just hold tight. If it does, I got to be nice the way I do this. If they come out, there will be one YouTuber that posts a video about it 5 minutes after it comes out. I'll put it that way. We will not be that YouTuber. We will do an extensive conversation probably after about 1,000 other people have put up a 5-minute video on it. We'll do a little bit deeper dive. I'm not calling anybody out. That's why I said a YouTuber. But you guys, we're about the extensive dialogue, not just being first. Joe Fulford, please send Zach Hicks' brother shout out. He's battling leukemia. Joe, absolutely. My thoughts and prayers go out to Zach Hicks' brother. That's crushing. So you absolutely. It's hard to transition back to the end of the stream with that because the serious nature of that, but I am going to. So as we said, thoughts and prayers go out. And to wind down this video, I once again want to thank everybody for being here. You guys are absolutely amazing. I want to thank all the support that we have. We got Patreons up in the top left-hand corner. A ton of new Patreons support this channel at a third-party website. If you're interested in supporting our channel, there is a link down below. You get a little bit of information quicker. We do polls, we do surveys, and some personal information as well. Also, our sponsors in the top right. A ton of super chatters tonight. So I want to call out all the people that did super chats in tonight's stream. Scott Kernan was really, really super active. So thank you so much, Scott. Valar as well. Mel the Vulture, tons of super chats tonight. GG, thank you so much. Saying Raised on Earth, appreciate that. Home Flaherty. Steve Smitherman, appreciate your super chats. Westwood Chronic, Drama King New York City, John Jordan, Rita Neal, Wolverine 1771 with multiple. Steel Driving Crew, John Brody, Kay Hensley. Who else we got? We got Joe Fulford. So appreciate everybody and your contributions. Not just your contributions on Super Chat, but also the fact that I love that you make the comment. So anytime you do a Super Chat on this channel, we will stop what we're doing and jump over there and address your topic. So thank you so much. And as is customary for almost all of our videos, you guys give me a quick 999 in chat, because I want to do as many shout-outs as we possibly can. And one last request, once this video goes live, people will be watching the playback, and they'll be commenting on your comments because they see all this streaming. Make sure that you go and acknowledge them. You know, pop in. You don't have to watch the video a second time. But if you see somebody says, hey, Valar said this, then, go over there and respond to it. Let them know what being in the stream live is like. Because it is a different experience watching it in real time and participating. So, all right, let's get some shout-outs. I want to say what's up to Chris Riddle, also Leanne, Colleen Hayes, Rob Metcalf, DDA Ohio, Sheila Mack, Carol Stevens. Who was calling Rick on a stick? Was that you, Sheila? Somebody was the other night in the stream. Mike Reiser, Hilda Pineda, thank you. Jennifer Flaherty, Delmarva 1971, Clay, Maisha Holmes, thank you. Samantha Coombs, Bumblebee Brown with a lot of 999s. Robin Vance, Kimberly M., Shane Yutzy, Shane Smith, Joe Fulford, Brandon Burns, David Troya, the Catnat, Reaper, Amy Ferrero, thank you, Mike O the Psycho, Saying Raised on Earth, Julie McGuire, Danny Harrelson, Bob D., Tyler Birdman, thanks for being here. Harpy Gaming, appreciate you. Emma Michalik, Adriana Sandoval, Andrew Rush, Trevor Koenig, thank you. Deborah Johnson, happy Halloween to you as well. Newfield 12, thank you so much. Kimberly G. And the other Kimberly G. May you funnies. Michelle M. Have a good night. Casey F. Have a good night. CeeLo. Appreciate it, man. And absolutely to the mods. Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kels. Like my sanity in a very insane industry, because the YouTube game is interesting, but the moderators definitely keep me focused and keep me on point. Eric C, thank you. April 007, thank you. Jake Tom DeSheen, thank you. Have a good night. Viola McGowan, thank you. Dorothy Martin. Hey, thanks, Zach. Appreciate that, man. And glad he's watching, and, we send our love and support. Ron Burgundy Moore, Gene A., thank you. You guys have a great night. Hopefully you have a wonderful Halloween. Deborah Cox, have a good night. Deborah, long-time Patreon, thank you so much. DJ Quan, he's like, I just got here. What's up? DJ, you're going to have to watch the playback. Mitch True, thank you. Have a good night. And hopefully we will see all of you tomorrow night at 9:30. And once again, we will do a couple additional streams. So I'm not sure to be 9:30, but at some point on Friday, and more than likely our Saturday stream, I'll do it again. You know what? This is with the shout out. So sometimes we do this at the end of the video. We just hang out for a little bit. We call it outtakes, but a lot of times we're just not messing up. So I guess it would be the extended version where we just hang out. So I'm going to hang out and just chill with you guys for a couple minutes. I will continue to do that Saturday morning stream. I will say the maturity level of that stream went down to about a third of what our normal maturity level is. It was very disruptive. Saturday morning stream, I get it. We did that mainly for our international viewers, but we also got a bunch of kids in there, and it was tough to stay focused. But I'll do it again because I do have a commitment to our international viewers, and I want to try to do a stream that works for them. So I know, look, a lot of people like Wilson, some of our other international viewers, I think Alexandra last night, we got people that when we're doing these streams sometimes it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning for them, and they're staying up. So every once in a while I want to do something that, if I do that Saturday morning, it's probably evening for them, so it works. But you still get some of the American audience that it's, 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and it's, I guess kids are in between their cartoons and scrolling YouTube. But I'm committed to it. Hopefully we will get more of you, and I know you only have a certain amount of time to spend, and I do monopolize a lot of your time already. But I just want you here. I don't want you guys watching other stuff. I need you guys here. So yeah, in all seriousness, if we can get a few more of you in that stream, I think it'll balance out some of the people that just kind of pop in there. Dank, says Rick's dead. You know what? You have a right to that opinion. It's a popular opinion. It's not unpopular. I don't agree with it, but we can disagree. So on Sundays, we've been doing 4 streams on Sundays, and I'll give you guys the schedule. And I don't know that we'll do 4 streams when in the second half of the season. We'll see. But we do an 11 o'clock stream, which is kind of love versus hate. It's more the kind of psychology of other characters, not just the current storyline and what's going on with Rick. And then we do the countdown at 8. And last week we did a fan reaction and we did an extended fan reaction. So this week we are not going to stream during... we're not going to stream during Talking Dead. I just don't think it's the right thing to do. And let me say this, because I've heard... Actually, I want to get your reaction to this. I've heard that Rick is not going to be on Talking Dead. Don't quote me on this, but I heard it was going to be a taped interview. Did you guys hear that? Or did you hear he'll actually be there? I hope I'm wrong. All right, let me say this. I will not like it if he's not there in person. I will be offended. If he has a right to be with his family, and I'm going to be very picky about that. I hope he's on, and I hope he is there in person. I thought they said in a interview with Andrew Lincoln, if he does not make the trip, I'm going to be upset. I don't criticize The Walking Dead too much, but I will criticize him because I just think that's important. I think it's important to see him there and not taped in another country. And I may not be very popular for kind of going after him if that's what happens, because he's a lot more popular than I am. But I will. That'll bother me a little bit. Yeah, Leanne, even if it's via satellite, I'm not going to like it. I need him to get on a plane, fly there, be there. I know, there's a time change, and I know he's going to have to stay in a hotel and then, do the thing and then go back. But I need that. I need to see, people need to see him there in that studio, on the couch. So, I know it sounds like I'm just being picky, but yeah. Well, good. I mean, I'm glad most people kind of see that. Yep, absolutely. All right, everybody. Let's go ahead and wind it down. Thanks once again. Let's push this thing to 90,000 into 100,000. We will have a chat tomorrow night, and like I said, if spoilers come out, a bunch of videos will pop up. I'm sure you guys will know more. You'll know quicker than I do because I don't watch them. But I will do some research, and we will discuss them. I will make a warning so everybody will know if it's a spoiler stream. And even if it is a spoiler stream, we will still do another video that's probably not spoiler related before. I mean, it's just kind of hard once the word is out, because you do have these people pop in and it's like, I told you Rick was going to die, blah, 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 via. All right. Thanks. You guys enjoy the rest of your Halloween, and I will see you all tomorrow night at 9:30. Peace.